Hey, everybody. Welcome to Putting the Real in Real Estate. I'm your host, Art Wood, with one of my favorite real estate agents of all time, the only one that's done it longer than I have, I think, Karen Armstrong. Welcome to the show.
Thanks, Art.
Absolutely. She's all caffeined up and ready to rock and roll. So, by the way, do you remember the first time we met? I bet you don't.
I knew of you
Right?
before I met you.
All right.
I remember seeing you around Tucker.
And I think we met at Jason's Deli. Yeah, or something. I remember, and I remember you gave me a chance on 100% because I was back in like 06.
Yeah.
Or something, on a 100% financing deal. I was like, we don't have any of that crap or whatever. And anyway, and now we've just known each other for so many years, and
It's been a long time.
Been in networking groups, done deals together, and just one of the best out there. So let's just hear about Karen Armstrong and where you came from and how you got here.
Okay. Well, I'm Virginia. So
What part?
South of Richmond,
Okay.
so Chesterfield County. And so real estate, I loved real estate from when I was a little kid. My parents, my dad worked for the government. My mom worked at a school. No entrepreneurial stuff going on there. But like I always had that in me. And I was always like attracted to real estate. And so on Sundays, I had them drive around. We got these little books that were like in the grocery stores.
For the old people, y'all know what those are.
Those little things that were on the racks in the grocery store that had all the houses in them. And I would make my parents drive around and look at them. And they were like, we're not moving, and they didn't. We didn't move until forever. So,
Sure.
But yeah, so I loved it then. But back then, real estate wasn't really something you went into as a career. It wasn't like you went to college and you majored in real estate. Like now you can. Georgia
Right.
and UGA and Georgia State both have really good real estate programs.
Okay.
But back then, that wasn't really an option for a career.
What are they teaching? Are they teaching how to be a real estate agent?
I don't know,
Or
because I
just-
didn't take the
Right.
courses. But, they have degrees in it now, even master's degrees.
Yeah.
So, and I don't know if you need all of that, but, back then it wasn't something you did as a career.
Right.
So I went to college in University of Virginia in Charlottesville. And then I got my master's at Virginia Commonwealth University in Richmond and a master's in social work.
All right.
So nothing to do with real estate. But while I was getting my master's degree, I took the real estate classes because I was really interested because you could add on free credits.
Why not?
Why not? You could add on free credits.
Right.
So I got to do it for free. And I got my real estate license way back when. I guess that was probably in maybe 92
Okay.
in Virginia, but I didn't do it as a job or
Yeah.
anything. But I did buy my first property when I was 22 in Richmond. It was a duplex. And then I bought a second duplex in Richmond when I was
So you had both of them at the same time?
yeah, I was
Okay.
maybe 24.
Right.
And they were they were in really scary parts of town. They were but I was a social worker. I couldn't afford much.
At that point, they're probably $50,000, $60,000.
Yep. The first one was 57,000 and the second one was 35.
Oh.
It was scary though. It was scary. It was a really scary area. And my dad helped me fix them up because he was real handy. And and I used that the rent to pay my home mortgage. And I lived upstairs and they lived downstairs in the first one. So and I still look at it now and I paid 57 for it and now they're going for around 500,000.
All right.
So I should have kept it, but I didn't. But what it did allow me to do was pay off when I sold them, because I sold them when I moved here to Atlanta in '99.
All right.
It did allow me to pay off my school debt, and I had some credit card debt, so it helped me pay off that too. So I kind of had a fresh start coming
Heck
here. Yeah.
Heck yeah.
So I've always felt real estate was the key to wealth. Always felt that.
Well, it's funny we get off topic, which is okay. There's not really a single topic here. Whatever the hell I want to talk.
You want to talk about your show? It is. I'm just here.
I have a good buddy of mine that invests in some real estate, but he's more in the market and 401ks, stock market, everything else. And I'm more heavily in real estate.
What you know.
Which I know I feel like I can control, which I probably can't. But he's getting ready to retire. And I was like, well, I guess we'll figure out who's right.
Exactly.
But he's like, well, hopefully both of us are.
I know. Probably, if he's good at it and you're good at it, then.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the craziest thing. What you had going on at 22, 23, 24, a house hack. That's what everybody calls buying a duplex, multifamily.
Right.
The way I house hacked was I bought the house for my folks in Tucker, and I had couple of girlfriends that had lived with me there as well.
A couple at the same time?
Not at the same time. That offered. But I did have 4 roommates.
That's my stepson. Hi, Ian, if you're watching. Yeah, he has a house in Tucker, a split level.
Yep.
He's got 3 buddies that live with him, and I don't think he pays like anything.
Heck no. I was making $2,000 a month. And my ended up now wife.
Okay.
She was ultimately I couldn't keep somebody there all the time.
Yeah. She's like, okay, enough of this.
I know, but I would keep taking in strays that would live for free just to help them out, and she was like,
No.
Art, I need to be able to come downstairs without wearing a bra.
Exactly.
Gosh, Karen, I hope you're not watching this. But, so no, I mean, you can really put it on autopilot, and just the fact that you make your house payment and all of a sudden you're getting richer every month.
I don't know how, like, I knew to do this. Like, it was just something that, like, I really feel like is, like, in me.
Yep.
And I kind of think that about being a real estate agent, too. I really think there are certain people that have it in them and certain people that don't.
I agree.
Briefly telling you about this before. So I'm adopted.
Right.
And awesome parents. But as I got older, I wanted to find my birth family.
Adopted as a baby.
A baby, 6 weeks old.
All right.
6 weeks old, a little baby. And
Little baby Karen.
I know, I was cute Karen. I was bald. But yeah, I wanted to know, more about my genes, where I came from.
Right.
And I'd met my birth father. They're both awesome, by the way. Awesome people, awesome families.
Oh.
Like, I mean,
Fortunate.
yes. I mean, it's this, if you have to have an adoption story, you want mine.
Yep.
You want mine. I mean, both very successful families, just were super young and, weren't in a place to be able to raise a kid yet. But anyway, my birth mother is a realtor. And her sister's a realtor, and her dad was a developer.
Oh, so it was in you.
And it was just like totally, it was amazing. So I met her. I went down to Chapel Hill where she lives, and I was working on a real estate deal, and so was she. She was going out to show property. So I used her computer, and I wrote up the offer. I mean, isn't that wild?
That's crazy.
How does that happen? I mean, from a young age, I just knew I wanted to do something with real estate.
And then you meet your birth mother.
I know.
That's cool.
I mean, it really is. It's a cool story.
And I know, because I had asked you earlier, what would you do if it wasn't for real estate?
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's real estate's in your bones or it's just entrepreneurialism,
I mean, I'm really curious about things, and it just kind of comes naturally to me to always think about like how you can monetize something,
right,
whatever it is. Like, how could it be a business? How could it be a career? How could it be done better?
Yep.
And it's like coming up with solutions. I think it's just something that I have in me that makes me want to be curious about those things. Other people, they're just not curious about them.
That's right.
But for me, it's just, my husband, Mark, he is not curious about any of that stuff. He wants to play golf, and he could care less about that.
I knew I liked Mark.
Yes, he likes to chill out, play golf, smoke cigars, do his thing. But my brain is always twirling with like, well, what could that be? Or how can we improve on that? Or how can we make money from that?
Yeah.
And, that's just kind of how my brain works.
Yeah. Some of the folks that we've had on this podcast are fairly newbies, and, let's say 1 to 5 years in.
Yeah.
And that's been some of the questions is it's hard to be successful year one.
Yeah.
And what did they do that was different? And a lot of that too is realizing that it's a career, it's a job. It's not, I want to draw some people around or whatever, that and I think the same thing. I know I've said it on here about MLMs, multi-level marketing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't have a problem with them. I have a problem with the way they're marketed. Get rich quick.
Right.
It's a job opportunity. You go bust your ass doing it. You make some money, but
you can do it.
All right. So what year did you become a real estate agent?
So I moved here in 99, right, and I worked, I was a social worker. I worked for the Georgia Supreme Court doing mediation.
Okay.
But I knew I wanted to go into real estate. So I would shut my door during lunch and do my little real estate courses online. And I just got my license. And so beginning of 2000 is when I started.
Okay.
And I went full time. And for anybody
right off the bat. All right.
So for anybody who's new, you need to prepare for that. And I really think it makes a difference in being successful and burning out in that first year.
Yep.
You've got to have enough money saved up to be able to get through it. You've got to downsize your lifestyle so you don't have many expenses, and have, I mean, ideally 6 months saved up. I mean,
Yeah.
my lifestyle was very inexpensive. So, it wasn't hard to do that.
Yep.
But it had to be a conscious decision. And I think that gives you a lot of flexibility to be able to try different things and not be so desperate, because people can smell your desperation.
Yep.
And, to not be so desperate that if this doesn't work out, I'm not going to be able to pay my bills. And I really think people do not prepare for that. I really think they think it seems like it's going to be really easy and, somebody's going to give you leads and you're just going to like start selling houses. But it's not like that.
Yeah. I always wonder if I were to pick up and move to North Dakota.
Yeah.
Whether I would do this again. Like I still have my client following or whatever, but do I really want, because I know what kind of, and you and I did things, a little differently. You did it, I think, with a lot of marketing and stuff, but I did it with a lot of just,
we're very different.
Elbow grease or whatever, just shaking a lot of hands. And like, I mean, I hear about 50-year-olds starting new businesses all the time. I'm going, no way.
You could do it, but do
I
you
don't
want to?
to. No,
Yeah. Do
no.
you want to? Because I mean, it really did. I mean, you met me a little bit after I was a little bit more established, but like at the first couple of years, I did all that stuff.
Okay.
Pretty much everything. I remember like I wrote a letter to everybody who went to college with me. I looked at the alumni. Everybody, they didn't know me from Adam. I did that. I didn't know anybody here because I moved here. So, the few people I did know, I was calling them all the time and just basically and I don't call people now.
No, right.
Not a call.
Yep.
But then I did whatever it took. And so I think like having some level of, I don't want to say fear, but like if you have all your bills paid for, like, and somebody else supporting you, it's really hard to have that, killer motivation. Like I got to go out.
I've got to go do
I got to
that.
eat. So I got to do that. And a couple of years in, I had the blessing of a child, but I was a single mom.
Right.
And that was also something that really jump-started my career because I had somebody to support.
Hey.
So, I was willing to do whatever it took. But I did start with marketing pretty early on. Here in Tucker, like Brockett Road, I worked on Brockett Road. And, I just sent out little things I did on the inkjet printer, like to people up and down the road. And, and I also put things in people's mailboxes, which are not allowed to do as a federal offense. But I did that too. And, and I started getting a little traction and it just kind of grew from there.
Yep.
But yeah, I'm not I mean, my clients are business clients. They're not like buddies. They're not friends. I'm there for a reason to help them sell their house or buy a house. And, it's a little bit different than a lot of other people in the industry. In fact, a lot of people are like, mine your database, take your database, pour into it, read them, talk to them, touch them. I'm like, I don't really do that. I'm going to send out a newsletter, but it's nothing that involves like me, like, contacting them all the time. It's just not the way my business has evolved. It's more like, here I am. This is what I can do. If you want me, call me.
Right.
So, and over time, I think just the track record grew.
Well, there's no doubt. I mean, your track record speaks for itself. We haven't talked about it a little bit, but your goals of doing at least 50 to 75 transactions. I mean, that's 90% of people watching this are going, God, I wish I could do that.
It's a lot.
And
it's a lot.
And then even talk about where you are career-wise now. You had an amazing assistant.
I did. Yeah. Go Catherine. She's a mommy now.
That's great.
Full-time mommy now.
That's wonderful.
Loving it.
But you're making conscientious decisions to scale back. We've talked about this for years, about scaling back. And the funny thing is, I think you do a better job at it than I am, but I see all your listings and maybe you don't.
I'm not scaling that. I think it's being a little bit more intentional. I mean, this is like, I'm here in the career. Like I could never have done this when I was here.
Yep.
When I was here, it was like, I was going to say balls to the wall.
You can say balls.
Balls to the wall, every day, grinding. But now I'm kind of like a little more selective. I really like listings because listings give you more control of your time.
Okay.
Listings avoid a lot of Atlanta traffic. I can, plan to meet somebody at 10 a.m. about their house. I don't have to be there at 8:30 during traffic, and I definitely don't have to be there at 5:30. I mean, unless somebody wants to see the house.
Right.
But we have these teams of agents all over the metro that help me sell my listings.
Yep.
So, there's just a lot more control over that. And it's definitely a step-by-step process that I've got nailed down now.
Yeah.
And, I know A plus B equals C. And, if we do things right on the front end, we're going to get to C.
Yep.
And I feel very confident about that. So, yeah, I'm pretty much doing listings, although I'll do buyers certainly if they come along. Or if somebody's selling the house and buying something else, but I don't prospect for buyers necessarily.
Right. Mine just kind of comes, somewhat naturally as well. When somebody tries to make me we go to a business coach or something, it's like, I want you to make X amount of calls. I'm like, nope, not going to happen. I'm going to go out, I'm going to shake hands. I do the exact, I do kind of pitch that. It's like you start as clients and we end up as friends.
Yes.
And TR on the other side of the camera is very much, similar to that. And she's added that extra touch to the real estate agents as well.
Yeah.
So different strokes for different folks.
Is. I have my friends and they are separate from my clients. I certainly like some of my clients. But we're not like, having coffee all the time. I'm there for a business purpose. Yep. And, because I'm an introvert. You're not. You're not.
You're doing really good though, talking to millions of people.
Well, I'm a friendly introvert.
Right.
I can be friendly, but it's very exhausting for me to be on, and that's why buyers are hard for me.
Okay.
I've got to be, at least now it's a little bit better. Way back when they were in your car, you had to use a map book. We didn't have GPS.
Right.
They had a kid in the back seat that was like crying, and I was trying to locate a house. And tell them about the house and make the lockbox work. So to me, that is very stressful. Now it's not so bad. After COVID, you don't have to drive people around. So that was like the bonus of COVID. Now people drive themselves around.
That's fair.
I would get home and I would just be drained because of the social interaction.
Yep.
Listings, it's more like, when I meet with the clients, it's a time limited, we have certain times we meet and do certain steps in the process, but it's not just this kind of ongoing, like, who knows when it's going to end, seeing 12 houses and all day long, because that's really exhausting for me.
Yeah, it can be. And I learned in my not old job, but that was the old bank. I was with my business partner, and he was the introvert.
Yeah.
And I was the extrovert. And we were going into real estate connections. And this is case in point of every introvert, extrovert. I didn't want to go. I was tired, low energy. He was like, pull up your big girl pants and let's go.
Yeah.
So we went in like this and we just did this.
Yeah.
I went and like, let's stay forever. And he's like, I'm exhausted. Let's go home.
Yeah,
because I was I was getting my energy. He was having his energy drained.
And you always ask me about things like, do you want to come to this thing after hours? If it's after 6 p.m., I'm in the house in my pajamas watching the Braves game.
Good. On June 11th, it's 3:30, 5:30 pickleball.
Okay. Oh, pickleball. I don't know. I can come cheer.
Yeah, all right.
How about that?
Do that.
I can do that.
We have wine.
Okay.
Right, TR? We have wine. Anyway, so you didn't actually mention what group you were with Keller Williams for a long time. And
so I was with Coldwell Banker for 13 years.
That's right.
I was with Coldwell Banker for 13 years. And the reason I was there so long, during the economic crisis, what do you call that, 2008?
The Great Recession.
Great Recession. I pivoted to foreclosure work.
Yep.
And I kind of got the initial start in that from Coldwell Banker, and they were my broker of record, so I couldn't change from them.
Uh-huh.
Or I had to, like, with Fannie Mae, the companies I worked for, I would basically be kicked out and have to start at the bottom again. So I stayed with them until 2013.
You were doing hundreds of transactions.
Hundreds.
Right.
220 a year. I mean, I think in my career I've done over 1,400 transactions. But during those years, that was very different. And I really think to have longevity in this business, you have to be able to pivot when things come up. You've got to be okay with change and pivoting and kind of anticipating it before it happens.
Yep.
Whether or not we're changing to more of a seller's market, more of a buyer's market, or no market during the foreclosure crisis.
Yep.
But yeah, it wasn't like helping people sell their nice homes. It was basically getting inventory the first Tuesday of the month. It would just flood my box with tasks that I had to complete. Right. And so it was very task-based. It was grueling. It was grueling.
What kind of tasks?
First, checking the properties. Are they vacant or somebody in them? Number two, offering them money to get out of the property because they wanted them out. Evaluating the property, getting contractors in there to do things, doing basically mini appraisals. I have an appraiser's license too. I don't use it. It's not active. but it helps me be able to value properties. But just doing all of those valuations, I mean, I would just be spitting those things out,
All right.
and then carrying all the utilities. So I had to carry utilities for every single property. So if I
You had to carry them?
yes, I had to
in
set
your
them in
name?
my name. Had to set them. So I had like 60 water accounts, 60 power accounts.
Oh, Lord. How much were you getting paid to do a trade?
Not much. I
Right.
mean, we're talking like sometimes it was like $2,000 or $3,000. And, but if you do 200 of them,
That's not bad.
hello, that's a lot of money.
Yep.
But I also had to have somebody for accounting. I had to have people, runners. I had to have a lot of employees too.
Right.
So and people were really jealous that I had all this business, but they didn't realize how much work it was and how I had to market myself to these banks to
Right.
get their business.
Yep.
But I'm grateful it kept me alive during that time,
Right.
But it was really hard. And if we ever have that situation again, I would not do it again. It was just so hard. I guess, how old was I then? Maybe like late 30s, early 40-ish. I don't think I could do it now.
Right.
I mean, I was up till midnight doing reports, and they were mean. This bank people were mean. They were mean to me and to anybody else because their numbers, what they got was based on not having any fall throughs, a lot of different things.
All right.
And so if we weren't doing what they wanted us to do perfectly, we got yelled at a lot. So it was brutal.
They were there for business purpose.
They were there for business. And, that is a good thing for me. It was suited for me because it was task-based. It was a people-based. But, yeah, I don't want to do that again. So, long story short, 2013, I went to Keller Williams.
All right.
I had a friend that was with Keller Williams. And, I've been with them for 13 years. And it's been amazing. But I just transferred to Northroot. I got my broker's license. And I thought about going and getting my own. I don't want to do that.
Right. No, that's more work.
That's more work, and it's so North Group. Plug the North Group. It's so inexpensive. It's $99 a month and $99 a transaction.
Okay.
Hello, that's so cheap. And I already was doing all of my stuff anyway, so I really didn't need I didn't really. You always need training, but I didn't need the basic trainings or anything like that. And it's also a really raw environment, and it just. I wanted something a little less, just my own thing, where nobody was looking to see what I was doing, just really under the radar. And it's been good. It's just since November.
Well, we talked about that because I did not know. I never heard of North Korea until Lisa French went over there.
Yeah.
And then she was, oh, yeah, Karen's over there now. So
yeah,
I do believe, and y'all have had different careers, and she's only been in it for 5 years, and you've been in it for 25. But I agree with you that you get to be a certain level of professional, and you really don't need a lot. So when I was interviewing banks, I wanted very specific stuff. I wanted to operate my own P&L, profit and loss statement, which is not very common. And then I wanted products, and I wanted decent rates. It had to be the best rates or whatever. But I was like, and I want to be left the hell alone.
Right. Right.
I will always be profitable for you, but leave me alone.
Right, because you have your own internal motivation.
That's right.
Like, you don't need a company telling you, helping you set your goals. I didn't want that. I didn't want rah-rah. I didn't want somebody having my picture somewhere and being like, yeah, look what Karen did this month. That's not, it's never.
Well, now that's all right to see my picture. Oh, anywhere you are, I like my picture.
I don't need my picture. And the only reason I started going to award ceremonies is because I need something to post on social media.
That's right.
So,
that's right.
But yeah, I just didn't really need that level.
Self-gratification.
I don't know. I mean, I felt that own motivation.
Yeah.
I'm really not that competitive with other agents. It's just more like with myself.
Yeah.
And frankly, making the finances work.
You're probably harder on yourself than anybody else would be anyway.
Yeah. I mean, I have certain goals I want to meet.
Right.
And, they're not necessarily just real estate goals. I mean, they're goals for, retirement, investment properties. So I sold one this year. I've got 4 more, and I'm going to keep those for a while. I've got some other things that I do. I feel like, that's kind of the key, is having a well-rounded multiple streams of income coming in.
100%.
And, if you're a real estate agent, you're like in a prime position to do it. Over the years, I would flip a few here and there, just because great deals would come across, come across my plate. And I took advantage of that. And, I think it's just it's a really great way to set yourself up for success later on. Because, as you know, we don't have like retirement plans. We don't have pensions and all those things anymore. So somehow you got to set it up. And, the sooner I learned, the sooner I started doing that. So those were my goals.
Yeah.
Not necessarily like becoming number one agent or anything like that. It was more like, well, do I have enough to buy this property and create this string of income?
You do the right things, all those other things come.
Yes.
And I think too, like I've never one of the reasons that investors will use me because I've got so much investment experience. At one time I had 13 properties and there were storage facility, anyway, all kind of different stuff.
Remember that.
And now I'm down to 6 now, I think.
Okay.
But I never had a plan. I really didn't have a plan. I think that's where it became innate. I was like, I know I'm going to go out there and make as much money as I can possibly make, and the rest will take care of itself.
It will. You leave with income, the rest will take care of it.
That's right. Well, let me back up.
So she'll spend it all.
That's right. And I've always been a saver.
Yeah, I'm not a big spender either.
So I'm cheap.
I'm not cheap, but I just don't really get a lot of excitement buying things. It's not.
I get excitement of experiences more than I do things.
Yes. Travel, nothing I love.
Oh, so funny story is, I'm going to Costa Rica. She's where you stay. I'm saying this Inspirato thing. Let me show you the exact same house that y'all stayed in.
Yeah, and we've stayed in it since.
Okay,
We've stayed in it since. Yeah,
beautiful.
Love Costa Rica.
It was beautiful.
Costa Rica's an amazing place.
So you went and you started doing flyers.
Yeah, I still do them.
I haven't seen them in a long time.
I still do them. I've cut them back.
Okay.
I've cut back how many I've done, but I did do one last month. So basically, I mailed to 5,000.
Okay.
That's a lot.
Yep.
It didn't start out that way.
Yep.
So when I tell people that, they're like, "Oh my God, that's so expensive." But think about it. It probably cost me like 3,000, 3,200 to do one, and selling as many properties as I do, that is less than maybe like 3%.
Yep.
That is not really a lot in terms of my whole budget.
If you did that every month or whatever, you just got to sell one nice house and pay for it. Yeah.
Yes. Well, it would pay for 4 months a house. Nice house, 15 to 18,000.
Yeah.
So that pays for 5 of them, 5 months. So, and it just keeps my name in front of people. I did slow that down, but now I'm starting it back up some because I feel like I do need to keep that going. And
she wants to back off, so she increases more.
No. I had slowed it down because I was doing once a month.
Okay.
And that was the thing that was a non-negotiable with me. I will get that postcard out.
Yeah.
I might not do anything else, but that postcard's going out because it will. Are you yawning?
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I was on a boys trip all week long. Sorry. I was just trying. Anyway.
I'm just kidding.
So you're not negotiable. Those are going to get out.
Yeah.
I'm on social media some, but I don't pay attention to social media. Are you doing much social media?
I do enough to be like, here I am. I'm doing stuff. I'm selling things. But it's not. When Catherine was with me, we did more.
Yeah, a lot.
Because that was kind of part of her role. And she was better at it than me, frankly. But, I still want people to know I'm out there. But it's not really something that I spend a lot of time on.
Yeah.
It's kind of like I'll just, put it under contract on, let me let people know, or got this cool house coming on, let me let people know.
That's all you have.
I really don't have any huge marketing campaign. I don't put things out there just for fluff.
Right.
Like nobody needs to know who the Braves are playing tonight. They know, they can look it up. That I don't need to put that out there.
Well, it's interesting. So my old marketing gal, she kind of taught me that same stuff. She goes, your business, my business, they all have the marketing companies. You can go sign up, set it, forget it, just post. And you go look at how many likes and comments they have, 0.
Yeah, nobody cares about that stuff.
Because they want to know about you.
Right.
And so even when I post a closing, sometimes they get, but when I go post, hey, I hung out with my friends last night, had a great time. Oh, we loved it. When they get to know you.
Right. If I post something about me and my husband doing something silly on a trip we go on, like.
Yep.
That's, so a little bit of both in there.
Yeah. So I have a marketing guy that does an amazing job for us. He he takes all 3 of these cameras and chops them up, makes them nice, and they will be ready for your social media.
All right.
Either on the first or either first or 15th, you'll have something to post on there. But so tell me a horror story.
Horror? We're ending with a horror story?
I still got another hour and a half to talk. So what? Tell me about a horror story.
Horror stories. There's a bunch of them. The most difficult things for me are, you know, dealing with people that are unpleasant. You know, there isn't like one horror story. I mean, there's some horror stories. One was like, you know, I had a buyer's agent working for me for a while and he forgot to turn in an earnest money check.
Oh,
It got lost somewhere and we didn't have any earnest money holding the sale. Guess what? They terminated and wanted that money. So I had to pay it out.
right.
You know, so there are things, those are like lessons you learn. But the most difficult thing is just running across people that, you know, are difficult people. If you do 50 transactions a year, you're going to have 2 or 3 of them that have like major mental health thing going on,
Yep.
major life things going on, your personality problems, your relationship problems. And often as a real estate agent, that stuff is taken out on you.
Yeah.
And so what I've learned about that is, you know, seeing the red flag and trying not to go down that road.
Right.
And not being like, I can help everybody. No, some people are not right for me.
Yeah.
You know, and it just turns into lots of slip. Three transactions a year can ruin your year with sleepless nights and stress. So, you know, I've just learned to kind of try to avoid those if possible. It's not perfect.
No.
Unless they slip through.
I remember a guy that was really just, this was 2020, 2021. And I want to sell to everybody. I really do. And I can't, you know, and I bet I've, you know, had less than one a year, you know, negative transaction.
You're doing good.
Yeah, no, I think I do. I think I do really well at turning those negatives into positives.
That's good. Yeah.
Some are more difficult than others, but I remember this guy that was on the phone drilling me about rate. And I said, look, here's the deal. You can go to, you know, www.lowestrate.mortgage somewhere else. I was like, it's going to take 120 days to get it done. You're going to have to send in all your shit, you know, 12 times.
Right.
You know, you're going to get called once every 2 weeks or whatever else it is. And he's like, I don't really care for a 30-year loan. I'll put up with the headache. And I'm going, you know what? You and I are just not meant to be clients. And it's okay.
But isn't it hard? It's hard for me to say that. It's hard for me to have that conversation. And it's gotten a little bit easier. But, you know, it's hard for me to let business go.
Right.
Because I don't want to help everybody. I want to make money. You know, it's hard, but I'm a much happier person. And so are all my family and everyone around me when I told them I people in my life.
Well, I just came back from a boys trip and we had a golf trip and we normally close in this market, about 8 deals a month.
Yeah.
And we got 7 in 3 days.
Oh, okay.
7 in 3 days. And the market's tanking. The interest rates are just.
I know.
And I'm such a people pleaser that calling somebody and saying, by the way, that rate that I told you, I can't get that rate anymore. Truthfully, it was worse in my head than it actually ended up being.
They know the rates have gone up.
Yeah.
They're like living in the cave. They know the rates have gone up.
So they had those, you know, but I tend to try to make everybody happy. And sometimes people just don't want to be happy.
No, they don't.
It's okay.
They don't want to.
They want to bitch and moan, but
yeah. Do you have a do not work with again list?
No.
I've got 3 people on my do not work with again list.
All right, who are they? No, just,
Number 1.
I know what Art would. You had mentioned that as we wrap it up, you had mentioned some things that you felt like agents get wrapped up in.
Mm-hmm.
You know, needing the latest and greatest.
Yeah.
First of all, I think that you are a case in point that you don't need that. You got postcards.
You do not need that. People are like, no one looks at the postcard. Yeah, they do. People do. And you know, I'll have people. I occasionally will go to somebody and they'll have a stack like this, and they're saying, I was just waiting until that day that I was going to sell my house. And some of them back when I was a Coldwell banker, like 15 years ago.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow. But yeah, no, I mean, you have to figure out what works for you.
Yep.
And not try to put the square peg in the round hole to do something that either, you know, your broker or business coach suggests you, if it does not fit with you. And that's something I wish I'd learned earlier, that I didn't have to follow the script that everybody else is following. Because, you know, it was painful to try to do things that didn't fit with like my personality or who I am. But I think, you know, figuring out what that is and just going at it 100%, you know, sending out 100 postcards will not do it. But if you blanket the whole area with postcards, you will get calls.
Yeah.
You know, combined with signs being up, you know, combined with the newsletter going out, you will get calls. It works. And figuring out what those things are that work for you, you know, some people may be hosting events. I know I will never have a bouncy house in my yard and invite 200 people with kids over to jump in that bouncy
That
house.
sounds awesome.
That is never going to happen for me. Some people do a great job of that.
That's right.
And, everyone has a great time, and I guess they get customers from it. Figure out what works for you. And I know other people have said this, but you will be successful if you work this like a full-time job.
Yeah.
If you think that you're going to stay in your house and find clients and do nothing, it's not going to happen.
Right.
But if you get up at, 7:30, 8 o'clock and have your day planned out and everything is going for either working with existing clients or figuring out, how to reach new clients, and you do that every day, then a couple of years, you will be getting business. I guarantee you will get business.
No, I agree with you. And I do think that's where you find that you've put in your time to find out what works for you.
Yeah.
I tell people that about networking all the time is you've got limited amount of time. So go look but you got to be consistent. So if you were to send out 40,000 postcards and done it once, you wouldn't have gotten any calls.
Right. Consistency, and that's why it had to be a non-negotiable.
Over and over and over
I
again.
will do this. Even if I'm so busy with other things, I will get the postcard out.
Yeah. And even with networking, I had a guy that is like, you don't have to go to a networking group. He's like, he's a financial planner. I do cross stitching.
Yeah.
He was a 40-year-old man going to cross stitching because that's where they have money.
You have to be somewhere where people are that you can develop a connection with and some sort of relationship with and some sort of trust so they want to work with you.
100%. 100%. So last question, let me think. You know what? Yeah, no, we had 2 more questions. What's your favorite client? Not your who is it? What is? What's your favorite client?
My favorite client is somebody who wants to work a plan with me to get their house sold. Somebody who is, reasonable. Just a good person, honestly.
Yeah.
And wants to take direction because I'm very specific. People say I'm very picky, but I'm going to lay it out exactly. If you do these steps, we will get to this goal that you want. Mm-hmm. Somebody that can follow a plan. Somebody that doesn't have ADD so they get distracted every 2 minutes. That's my best client.
Oh, God.
That's not you, are you? It's like somebody that can follow the plan and we get to the goal. And, people say, oh, the market's kind of bad. No, the market is not bad.
Yeah.
You just haven't prepared the property for market.
Okay.
If the property is prepared for market and it's priced right, you will get to that goal.
All right.
So, it's never about the market.
Okay. Mm-mm. And if you were not, we already kind of covered this, but if you were not a real estate agent, what would you do?
I'd be starting some sort of business, doing something. It could be anything because it's the same skills. It is the same.
What do you
skills.
love? What's your hobby?
I like cryptocurrency.
Right.
I do. I like crypto.
All
I'm involved in crypto groups. I have an investment portfolio of crypto. It pays passive yield. And I love watching my yield grow. I love that. And I love watching my money. I love Mahjong now. I'm really into Mahjong. I have Mahjong in my house.
Yet to do that.
Every Wednesday I have Mahjong. And
that's social.
It's social.
But small,
But small, and it's very time limited. We get there at 10, we leave at 12 every Wednesday. And you have to be involved in something that you like.
Yeah.
And you will meet people and they will turn into clients.
So same thing. Go play Alta tennis.
Yes.
And I made $30,000 one year on my tennis team.
Of course.
And
Yeah.
You go play golf and you go do this.
Yes.
And you don't lack for what to talk about, and they just go, hey, they feel that they know you, they trust you, they like you.
Yeah, make sure it's something you enjoy doing.
That's right.
That's right. Don't do a cross stitching thing if you don't want to cross stitch.
I don't want to cross stitch.
I don't either.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think that we about covered it, and I really appreciate you being on, and tell people how they can get in touch with you.
@listed by Karen. That's my Instagram. That's the best way to reach me.
That was quick. Well, thank you all for being a part of Putting the Real at Real Estate, and do a virtual applause for Karen Armstrong, and we will see you next time.
All right.
Bye.